James Harden, down. Kyrie Irving, down. The Brooklyn Nets, down bad. The Nets might be in serious trouble. But welcome back, guys, to another episode. Welcome back to another episode of BallDontLieUk with yours truly, Humphrey. And yeah, like I'm saying, the Nets might be in serious trouble. And I'm not the type to overreact too much. Like I said, in the playoffs, things ebbs and flows. There are different, situations that can happen at any time. But what's happening with the Nets right now? Yeah, literally they're falling like flies, and it's not like the role players that are falling like flies. Their star players are getting injured. James Harden hasn't played. Well, he's only played 48 seconds of the series, and only last night, 2 nights ago. What's today? Monday. Last night, Kyrie Irving twisted his ankle, and it's a sprain as well. And just before I was about to film, I got a notification on my phone that said Kyrie's going to be out for Game 5. And at this point, they need Mr. Miyagi to come in and get Harden back on the court because they need him. And this if Harden doesn't come back for Game 5 or 6, if he doesn't come back for the series, because in my opinion, if you have a hamstring injury in the playoffs, this deep into the playoffs, I don't know if you'll be back for it. Which kind of looks like what's going on with Harden right now. But like I said, they're gonna need a miracle for Harden to come back and help KD. And I feel like this is gonna raise a lot of questions of how great Kevin Durant really is. Like I said, like I've always said, he's the best player in the league. But this test right now is really gonna test how good he really is. Because I remember way back in the day, probably 2013, 14, around his MVP season, when Patrick Beverley injured Russell Westbrook, and Westbrook was out of the playoffs. I remember it was the first round, and then obviously we ended up beating the Rockets and ended up facing the Grizzlies. So obviously we faced the Grizzlies, and KD was the only star on the team. And at that time, obviously he was playing MVP like basketball, but he just couldn't get us over the hump. And he got locked down by Mike Conley, Tony Allen, and Marc Gasol. The Grizzlies back in the day. They literally put him in a straitjacket, and unfortunately, he couldn't get us past the Grizzlies. So this situation kind of reminds me of that one as well. With this one, obviously, not one but two star players, being injured. So this is really going to test how great KD really is. I still have faith in him. I'm not gonna discount him just yet. I'm not gonna bet against him, but it's just looking bleak. It's looking real bleak right now, because I feel with KD, he's always had a superstar next to him, or a star player next to him, whether it was with Westbrook, whether it was with Steph Curry, and at the Warriors as well, he played a lot more one-on-one, because you're not gonna come off of Clay or Curry. Do you know what I mean? So he had a lot of space to work with. But with the Nets right now, what's going on? Like I said in my previous video, PJ Tucker's been playing exceptional defense on him. Personally, sometimes I feel like he's playing a bit of football. He's playing a bit of football, with KD, because some of the defenses, some of the things the refs are letting go, I feel like it's a bit much. They need to take a look at that. But that's just me being biased. I can't lie to you. That's just me being biased, because KD, he had 28 points in the last game, but those were tough 28 points. They were not easy at all. So I don't know how they're gonna generate easy offense for him in the next game, in Game 5, which he's not gonna have Kyrie, and we're not sure the status on James Harden as well. And also this is really gonna test Steve Nash as well, because in the first series when they played the Celtics, he never really got tested. It was a breeze. And obviously the first 2 games of the Bucks series as well, I thought, there's gonna be a cakewalk to the finals, but now he's gonna get tested. Because last game Blake Griffin played really well against Giannis, but he never came back into the game in the third quarter, and he played Nick Claxton and Jeff Green. I was a little bit surprised by that. Some of the challenge calls that he had as well, they're a little bit questionable. But again, this is showing a little bit of his inexperience. But we'll see how this one plays out. But KD, you're gonna have to step up. Do you know what I mean? You can't make me look stupid. You know what I mean? I'm rooting for you, so hopefully he comes through. But moving on from that, we have the Phoenix Suns. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a sweep. Suns in 4. Do you know what I mean? Suns in 4. The Suns have swept the Nuggets and the MVP Nikola Jokic, and they've done this exceptionally well. I apologize because I really underestimated the Suns. I didn't think the Suns would. I knew the Suns would give the Nuggets a good series, but I didn't think they would be this dominant. The Suns look really, really good. And honorable shout out to my MVP, the point guard, Chris Paul, CP3. I think he's amazing. I mean, I've stressed, how many times have I said I think he's, and people are only gonna find out how good he is once he retires, because I think he's exceptional. I love Chris Paul, and I never knew how good he was until he came to OKC last season. The guy's insane. I love watching him play, and the way he plays, he slows everything down to the point that you understand exactly what he's going to do. But as a defender, you cannot stop it. That mid-range, that little elbow, that's his sweet spot, and he capitalizes every single time. I love his game. It's so sick. It's so sick. As a 36-year-old, and he's aging like fine wine, and it's beautiful to see. I love to see it, and hopefully you do too, because I think he's exceptional, and I'm rooting for him to get to the finals, because I know winning a ring isn't the be-all and end-all, but for someone like him, I think he deserves a ring. Just to cap off an amazing career. And shout out to Devin Booker as well. Him and Chris Paul were both finished with 37 and 34 points, respectively. Chris Paul scoring 37 points, not attempting a 3. That's how special he is. He almost had 40 points without attempting a 3. And his assist to turnover ratio, 8 assists to 1 turnover. I mean, come on. There's no point guard in the league that's doing this. Do you know what I mean? He's absolutely insane. He's literally a savant of the game, and I wish him the very best. I hope he can get a ring this season if KD gets knocked out. I'll just add that in there. If KD's still in the final, if KD some way somehow gets to the finals, I'm rooting for KD. But if not, then I'd love for CP3 to win it. And just to quickly touch on the games that's happening tonight, the Sixers versus the Hawks. The Sixers leading 2-1 with another game at the Atlanta Hawks. Like I said, Sixers are too big, too strong, too good for the Hawks. I see them winning tonight's game as well, unfortunately, taking it back home to close it in 5 games, which will give them enough rest just to wait for the Bucks and the Nets to finish off their series, which I think might go 6, maybe 7 games. Last but not least as well, the Utah Jazz versus the Clippers. Now this series is very interesting. I was watching game 3 and I thought the Jazz could rally back, but I think they might need Mike Conley. I think this season, this series will go 7 games. Like I said, the Clippers like to do things the hard way, and I don't think the series is over by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very intrigued to see how that would go. But yeah, you guys tune in to BallDontLieUk, and also tune into the latter stage of the playoffs. The Euros has also started as well, so I'm literally bouncing between both sports. But yes, it's fun. It's fun. I really hope you guys are enjoying this. The episodes, the shows. Leave in the comment sections what type of videos you want to see. DM me on Instagram at BallDontLieUk of different video ideas you want me to do. Let me know what you want to see from me, and I will do that for you. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and remember, Ball don't lie, baby.